Early morning in southeast Moscow, and a Russian general leaves his apartment building with his military aide. To their left, a bomb concealed in a parked scooter detonates, both men killed in the blast. Another camera captures the force of the explosion. It shatters windows, punctures walls, terrifies neighbours.
My wife and I were woken by a loud explosion. At first, we thought it was a drone.
Right now you see a lot of police, but usually everything is open. Anybody can go in and out.
Minimal security then for a high-profile member of Russia's military. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov was head of the radiological, biological and chemical protection troops and had just been charged by Kiev in his absence with responsibility for what it says are nearly 5,000 instances of chemical weapons use on the battlefield. Sources within Ukraine's security service have been quoted claiming responsibility for the attack.
Our enemies have already rushed to publish information about their involvement. The investigators must find the killers in Russia, and we must do everything to destroy the patrons who are in Kyiv, the military political leadership of Ukraine.
Kirillov was a familiar figure on Russian media, where he'd frequently accused Ukraine and the Anglo-Saxon West of illegal chemical, nuclear and biological activity.
I think what's interesting is why he's been targeted. It's not just by the Ukrainians, if we assume the Ukrainians, to take action against the man who's being responsible for use of chemical weapons against their troops in Ukraine, but I think also as a figurehead for the sort of lies being pushed out, and also to send a message to the wider Russian state that no one is beyond reach of the Ukrainian special forces.
On the battlefield, Russia has been assaulting Ukrainian positions occupying Russian territory in the Kursk region. Ukrainian units posting these images say they show North Korean troops being targeted, as many as 50 men killed over the course of 3 days.
For the third day, the enemy is conducting intensive assaults in the Kursk region. North Korean army units are being actively engaged. Their mercenaries have already suffered big losses.
But this is a war being fought on other fronts. With Russia's economy under growing stress, it's ever more reliant on its shadow fleet of sanctions-busting oil tankers. 2 broke up in the Black Sea over the weekend. Today, a third issued a distress signal. The environmental costs are mounting. There are reports that shortened riverine vessels, unsuitable for heavy seas, are being used. The Prime Minister in Estonia promising to sanction 2 Russian maritime companies and 20 ghost tankers, less forthcoming on this morning's attack in Moscow.
I think that's a developing situation, but this morning's discussion was very clear about the strategic need for NATO to stand as we do with Ukraine in this critical period.
Critical as both sides seek advantage, take risks, with just over a month before the return of Donald Trump to the White House and his pledge to impose a swift end on this war.